and officially welcome to this Celebrity Expert Marketing webinar. My name is Greg Roulette, the CEO here at Celebrity Expert Marketing, and I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer for the Dixon Anton Celebrity Branding Agency. So that's probably where you heard about this webinar, and you heard about some of the things that we have been doing to drive clients into our programs, helping people become best-selling authors, get on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates, into big print publications like Forbes Magazine, Inc., USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Fast Company. And we've done some amazing programs and a lot of fun marketing over the last few years. Even before I came on board, and now that I'm on board, we've had a really good time of finding creative ways to use celebrity and personality in our marketing. So what today is going to be is really a live look into 5 celebrity-driven marketing campaigns that I've created both for ourselves here at the agency and also for clients at Celebrity Expert Marketing that we have created for them. And again, my name is Greg Roulette. If you don't know me, I'm going to do a quick little background just so you know who you're talking to for a couple minutes, but I really want to spend the majority of the time on the content. So my story, I was actually in a former life a rapper in a rock band. We were kind of like a Gym Class Heroes or a Linkin Park type of group, and I was fortunate enough to tour around the entire country. I played everywhere from Madison Square Garden in New York City down to the Knitting Factory in LA and really everywhere in between. And this was my lifestyle. It was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I had dropped out of college to be a musician full time. I had, quit the day job. I was just working in restaurants and hospitality like most musicians do. And this was plan number one, right? And this was, you're going to be a rock star. I was going to be on TRL and hang out on MTV and all that stuff. And we had this tour booked. It was a 15-city East Coast tour with a band called Rehab. They had a song on the radio back in the early 2000s called Bartender, and we were about to tour with them. And a month prior to this tour, I had gotten married to my wife Jennifer, and I had spent all our wedding money, the wedding money you're supposed to use to go and buy new fine china and pots and pans and new silverware and start your new life with your wife. And I had taken all of that wedding money and put it into the band for this tour. I bought a new trailer and new wheels. I had got new gear, new t-shirts, new hats, new CDs, everything. So we were set up for this tour, and 2 days before we were set to go on this tour, this 15-city East Coast tour, it was going to be the time of our life and kind of really jumpstart our career to the next level. I get a call from the guitar player and the bass player, and they say, "Hey, Greg, we're not going." And I'm just like, "What do you mean you're not going? Like, you're not going to dinner tonight or your band practice, whatever?" They're like, "No, man, we're not going on tour. We're not going." And this literally was like a defining moment in my life, and I really remember that day because it felt like I had just gotten divorced, right? These were guys that I had lived with, that I was sleeping on floors and vans and dirty hotels and in the back of venues with, and all of a sudden, like my brothers were no longer coming with me. And I had this other side of my life where I just gotten married and I'm starting this new life venture, right? And so my wife's parents, very supportive of the entrepreneurial mindset, came and they were just like, "Hey man, we support you, we love you, and we know you're gonna make this music thing work, but you got to do something. You got to support our daughter here. Something's got to happen." And they actually dragged me to an internet marketing seminar out in Daytona Beach. And at the time, a 22-year-old musician, like, this is the last thing that you want to do on the face of the earth, is spend like 10 hours locked in a room with your in-laws. And it was just crazy, but that day, like, literally everything clicked for me. I ended up spending every dollar that I had, maxed out every credit card, and bought all the products that they sold at the room. And really, the rest, as they say, is history. I mean, I started selling some random things online, and my first website was called Backyard Hammocks. I drop shipped hammocks. I found a company in Canada that had hammocks, and I was selling them to people all around the world. I sold bird feeders on a site called Bird Feeders to Go. And then I got into wanted to go back into the music industry. I really wanted to help musicians with this newfound internet stuff that I was learning, and I learned rather quickly that musicians, much like myself, just didn't want to spend any money on a marketing guy, right? That's the last thing musicians wanted to do. So I found out rather quickly. They didn't want to spend like $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month or $5,000 a month in a retainer. So what I did is I actually went to Home Depot and I bought this giant slab of whiteboard and I nailed it up against my bedroom wall, and I had a bar stool because I didn't have a tripod at the time, and I put this little, like a flip camera type thing on top of the bar stool, and I actually had to put books on top of the bar stool to make the bar stool high enough so that you could see me in the video camera. And I would hit record on the video camera and I would run to the whiteboard and I'd be like, hey, what's up? This is Greg Roulette and welcome to this video. And I ended up shooting 4 videos. A product called the New Music Economy, and to this day we've sold over 5,000 of these to musicians all around the world, helping them with marketing, and from that really spawned an entire career in this industry. And now today I'm really fortunate to have come along and I get to help entrepreneurs like you guys and experts and authors and speakers and small business owners with their marketing plans and programs, and helping them create products and helping them create marketing systems to really help them gain market share and really help them be seen as someone that people really want to work with. And through Nick, I've been very fortunate to become a best-selling author. My products and services have been featured on a lot of different media outlets, and very fortunate to help some amazing entrepreneurs. Just in the last year, we've created information products with Michael Gerber, Brian Tracy, and Tom Hopkins. We've launched campaigns that have just put unforeseen amount of people into programs, and it's been an incredible ride and journey. And tonight I'm going to share with you 5 things that are working right now today. Like literally, these are things that we've mailed in the last week or 2 or 3. So these are brand new tactics, and just some other couple really fun things. I have a son on the left. That's Colton Connor. He is 6 months old. If any of you were at the Bestseller Summit and Golden Gala Awards last September, I was not there because my son was born about a week after that event. So my wife did not want me 4 or 5 hours away if she did go into labor. But he is now 6.5 months old. It's been an incredible ride, and something else I'm very, very proud to have done is this January, Nick, Jack, and myself, along with some of our clients, flew down to Acapulco, Mexico, and we filmed a documentary called Casa Hogar. And it was a children's orphanage down there, and we got to spend some time there, and we had to paint some walls and hook up some computers and painted and brought in some books for their library, and really moving and touching event, especially for a new dad to see these children who when we left at 5, 6 p.m. I mean, there was no one there to take care of them, and it was just really eye-opening, a great experience. And I hope that we're able to give these kids the same access to information that we have here by getting them on the internet, getting them access to some really great books and information. So really great stuff. So enough about me, let's get into you. And I want to start this talking about the core concepts of celebrity-driven marketing. And if you guys have a pen, paper, I advise you to take some notes. And really, throughout the course of this webinar, you're going to see some things that might not be in your industry, or you might not be doing some direct mail the way that we're doing it, or some campaigns the way that we are. But you're going to find bits and pieces and nuggets that really you can integrate into your marketing right away, just by changing a couple sentences, by having a new open, by having a new close, by coming at it from a different direction. And it's going to be really, really important for you to take these notes and act on it, right? So I want to start by talking about the core concepts. And if you've been around Nick, Jack, Lindsay, or myself for any amount of time, you've undoubtedly heard this concept of people buy people, right? We don't want to buy from a nameless, faceless corporation, even though we do when we go to the grocery stores and buy some Nike sneakers. But when we're thinking about making a significant purchase in our lives, or investment in our lives or in ourselves, we're buying from the people, right? And so we like to give this example of, if I was going and I needed to get my teeth cleaned and I had 3 different dentists lined up, well, my assumption would be that all 3 dentists could probably clean my teeth, right? All 3 of them have gotten the schooling, they have their own dental practice open, they're all putting ads out. I'm pretty confident that, they're competent enough to clean my teeth. What's going to really draw me to go in and actually get my teeth cleaned and then maybe do some more work with them if I so needed some more work would be the actual person himself, right? The fact that he was a nice dentist, the fact that when I walked in he had a nice office and I was greeted by a nice staff and I was checked in and I didn't have to wait long, and he talked to me, he had some small talk, he could relate to me. He also has a new son or maybe a grandson. Just the personality draws people in, and we buy from people, right? And we also recommend people like, oh, you really need to see Bob. When I went into his office the other day, he was just great and warm and awesome, and we had this great conversation. He would be great for you. So people buy from people. And the second part of this core concept of celebrity-driven marketing is we buy from people that we know, that we like, and that we trust, right? So the KLT, the know, the like, and the trust. And the first part of that, the know, is a lot of what we're going to talk about today, because before they can like you and trust you, they have to know that you exist, right? And they have to realize that you are someone who's even in the field that can help them solve a problem that they have. In the presentations I've given, if you've ever been on a Product Pros webinar that I've done, is that the core reason that we are all in business is to solve a problem, right? So if you're hungry, McDonald's solves that hunger problem. Well, so does Ruth's Chris. So does Whole Foods. So does Publix. So does the supermarket. So, and there's different levels of ways that, people can help you. Right? So you have to solve this problem. So the person, your prospect, the person that you're talking to, you need to make sure that you're getting in touch with the people who have this problem, and they have to know that you exist to solve that problem. So we're going to talk a lot about the know part today, and that's really where the celebrity and personality driven marketing comes in, is getting their attention. And it was really funny because I've always been on the fact, or stated that, hey, getting attention today, it is really, really hard. I mean, I'm doing a lot of work with Sally Hogshead right now, and she says that people have the attention span of a goldfish, which is about 9 seconds long. And you have to get someone's attention in just 9 seconds. I've also seen it stated that, you have 140 characters to get someone's attention. Well, that ain't a whole heck of a lot of time to get someone's attention, to get them to pay attention to you, to get them to, engage in your message. But this Friday night, I was reading the Robert Collier letter book, and this book was released in 1937. This is my Friday night now. So you put the baby to sleep, and you go to the Mexican place, and you get a burrito and a Corona, and you read the Robert Collier letter book. And in Robert Collier's letter book, which was written in 1937, the biggest thing he said in that book is, it is hard to get people's attention. The most important thing that you can do is get people's attention. And I was like, really? In 1937? I mean, they didn't even have TVs back then, right? Like, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm a young guy. But, they definitely didn't have iPads or iPods or Netflix or Amazon or, super center shopping malls and, Walmarts. And it almost seems, crazy that in 1937, the hardest thing you had to do is get people's attention. Well, but the same is true today. You need to get people's attention. This is the most important part of any marketing plan. So let's jump right into some ways that you can get attention, right? Because you have to get their attention first. Without attention, they're not going to open your letters. They're not going to open your emails. They're not going to read your sales message. You got to get their attention first. And, right when we started this webinar, the first thing that I did is I asked people, who are you and where are you calling in from? I got your attention when I called out, Helena's name and Kristen's name and John's name and Jimmy's name. I got your attention and I made you pay attention. And there'll be some other points during this webinar where I'll call your attention back, because it is very, very important. I mean, I'm not naive. I know a lot of you are watching this webinar, but you also have your email open, or you're texting, or you're doing some Facebooking, or you're writing a report. I get it. So you got to pull people back in to get that attention. So the first step in people by people is the know, right? Getting people to know you. They can't like you or trust you before they know you. So the first thing you need to do is say, hey, I'm here and I can help you solve this problem. So here's an example. And it's done through celebrity. I'm skipping some slides, so I want to get right into some meat for you guys. So here's an example. This is a letter that we recently sent out for 2 financial advisors down in Fort Lauderdale, Grant and Andrew. And I want you to first pay attention to the envelope. You can see on the envelope, you have their logo. So if they have familiarity with the brand, you can see the Global Wealth Management logo right on there. Like, oh yeah, those are my advisors. Yeah, I've seen them around. I've seen their ads, whatever the case is. All right, the next thing your eye attracts to is that your RSVP is requested by Friday, April 5th. So remember, like I said, guys, these are recent campaigns that are working right now. April 5th is when we had RSVPs for this mailing that we sent out. And then right at the bottom, you see As Seen and Heard in Newsweek, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Sun Sentinel, which is their local paper, 610 WIOD, which is a radio station that they're on, and iHeartRadio. Now, why did they do that? Is because, hey, I don't know who Global Wealth Management is. I don't know why they want me to respond, but man, I read Newsweek, or I read the Wall Street Journal, or man, they've been in USA Today, or I read the Sun Sentinel every day. I can't believe I missed their article. Or 610 WIOD, isn't that the same station that Rush Limbaugh's on, and Glenn Beck and those other guys? So right away you get their attention, right? And in direct mail, your envelope is really a subject line when you're looking at email, because if they don't ever open the envelope, they never see the sales message. If they never open your email, they don't see the message that's in the email. So your envelope and your subject line need to be powerful enough to be like, whoa, I know who that is. I need to open it because there's a powerful message inside, right? So that's just on the envelope end. Now, if you can see a little bit of the letter on the first page, right again at the top, as seen in and heard on, you have the logos: Newsweek, USA Today, Sun Sentinel, 610 WIOD, and then you have a picture of Grant and Andrew. So immediately there's familiarity. Oh, these are real guys. These are real guys doing things. They're not hiding behind, a black fence or a white screen or whatever it is. These are real guys, and they're just talking about this. Now, if you look at the headline really quickly, it says, last year, the host of 610 WIOD's Road to Retirement Income radio show. Wow, how have I never heard of this radio show? I listen to 610. I listen to Rush Limbaugh and these other shows that are on this conservative radio station. How do I not know these guys? And then it goes into a little bit of the offer, but you got to reel them in with attention first. You got to get them to know you. Right? So, man, I can't believe I've never heard of these guys. I need to pay attention. These guys are on the same station as my guys that I listen to. They look like nice, trustworthy guys. They've been in all these media places. This is how you use celebrity to get people's attention right away. All right? So, some takeaways from that first example: familiarity right on the envelope. The same thing goes for the subject line, right? So, in the subject line of your emails, a couple things to look at there is who it's from. Right, so a lot of times when I'm first working with a client, the from is from the company name, right? Acme Widgets, right? Well, I don't know Acme Widgets, but if it's from Jim Smith, right? Oh, I know Jim. Jim sent me that stuff last week, or I signed up at Jim's website, or I saw Jim's video. Jim's a good guy. I should open that. It creates that personality. It creates a friend. It creates someone that I want to have a relationship with. It's the know. I know you, and I might even like you because you sent me something good before. So familiarity right on the envelope, right? And like I said, the envelope is just like a subject line. You have to get your message opened. Right? So you can have the best sales letter in the world, but if it's in a crappy envelope, it doesn't get open, well, it doesn't really matter. Right? You want to integrate celebrity throughout. As you saw, we had the logos both on the envelope and right on the inside of the letter, right at the top. You want to keep reminding them because they might have already forgot why they opened the envelope. Or they might have opened the envelope, put the letter down, threw the envelope out, and 2 days later they go back to the sales letter because it's on their mail pile or to-do pile. Right? So you want to really make sure that you're using all these elements throughout each step of the process. If you do something in an email and you're sending someone to a landing page, have that landing page match the email. If you mention that you were on a certain show, well, on that landing page should be a mention of that certain show, right? Photos of you. This is really important. A lot of people want to steer away from sharing photos of themselves. Right? But this is what creates a connection. Right at the beginning of this webinar, I told you guys my story, and you saw photos of one where I was in front of a crowd. I was a musician. And for those of you who are musicians or were musicians or new musicians or are into music, you're like, wow, that's really cool. Greg was on stage. You could, see who I was. And then you saw the transformation. You saw me in the suit, on stage speaking. Then you saw a photo of my son. You saw a photo of me down in Mexico with someone else. Like, you now know who I am. There's a familiarity there. You're like, oh, Greg's a normal guy. He's, someone, that's doing some fun things. That's great. Those photos are very powerful. Same thing in the photos that we use in the example that I just showed you. The photo was right there at the top. They're not trying to hide. Like, hey, here's us. If you come into the seminar, you're going to meet us. You're going to talk to us. If you come into our office, you're going to come and talk to us. After you've done those first 4 points, then you can start to connect with the emotional copy, which we're going to talk about in a further slide. So that's the first thing, right? You got to get them to know you, and you do that through the celebrity-driven marketing that I just showed you, right? Point number 2, we're going old school here. I shared the Robert Collier letter book in the beginning. Now I'm going to the school of Halbert, Gary Halbert. If you're not familiar with Gary Halbert, as soon as this webinar is over, not right now, go and Google Gary Halbert, the Gary Halbert letter. He's one of the not really pioneers, but he's one of the legends of direct response marketing, and he had some very famous letters that I'm going to show you in this process. And I've always known of Gary. I've read his work, I've read his letters, And it was one of those things that you keep hearing it over and over again, but I never actually took action with a lot of the stuff that he taught, which is just crazy because it's proven stuff that works. Just like, you as you're listening to this, don't just listen passively. Say, hey, here's how I can actually implement this stuff. So I was listening to a Halbert tape, and he was talking with Joe Polish, and Nick's a member of Joe's mastermind group, and he was telling Joe, like, just do this one kind of letter. Do it. This is it. This is what you say in it. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to send that exact letter, but I want to send something similar to that. And the letter is the classic dollar bill letter, and I have a little bit of a sample of the letter on the left-hand side, and this is just one. I just went to Google Images and Googled dollar bill letter, and right at the top of the letter, there was actually a real dollar bill attached, a $1 bill stapled to the top of the letter, and it says, Dear Jim, as you can see, I have attached a nice, crisp $1 bill to the top of this letter. Why have I done this? Actually, there's two reasons. First, I have something very important to say to you, and I needed some way to make sure this letter would catch your attention. Right? Doesn't a dollar bill catch your attention? Why did Greg send me a dollar bill? That's just crazy. Who sends dollar bills in the mail, right? So, and second, what I'm going to tell you is how your business can make thousands of dollars, and I thought it was especially appropriate to use a dollar bill as an attention-getting eye catcher. Anyway, here's what this is all about. So he puts the dollar bill there. It obviously catches your attention, and right away he addresses it by saying, hey, there's a dollar bill at the top of this letter. Let me tell you why I sent you this dollar bill, right? This letter was so effective, and this is what he was telling Joe Polish to use. Now, I didn't really want to send the dollar bill letter. I wanted to send something similar. So let me show you what we're sending instead of the dollar bill. We actually are exhibiting at the GKIC Super Conference. It's coming up in May, and this is the letter that we sent to all attendees before the event. So instead of sending a dollar bill, we actually sent a copy of our DVD, our documentary about our agency. It's called Cracking the Celebrity Code. And right at the top it says, enclosed movie by Emmy Award-winning director and GKIC member shows you why Dan Kennedy chose us to publish his latest book, Marketing Miracles, and why he asked us to do his new book, which you can be a part of as well. So the grabber is not a dollar bill, it's a DVD. Right under that I say, hey, you might be wondering why I have enclosed a DVD in this GKIC preparation package. Well, we've actually done this for two reasons. And let me show you the copy a little bigger so you can see exactly what we wrote. So same concept, just adjusted it, right? You might be wondering why we've included a DVD in this GKIC preparation package. Well, we've actually done this for two reasons. One, the Super Conference is one of our favorite events. We've been attending for years, building relationships with experts like you. This movie will let you in on the secrets many of the top GKIC members all around the world have used to increase their credibility. This is true because we work with a lot of GKIC members, herd leaders, people that are at the conference have gone through our book programs, our TV programs, our big print programs. Some of them have gone through our documentaries. Some of them use me to do their marketing or their products and use Lindsay to do their websites. And, we really have been going to this for years. One of our favorite events. Right? And this movie is going to show you how we help these people that you're going to hang out with at this event. The second reason is so you know who we are, you can identify us in the hallways, say hello at our booth, and so we can buy you a drink. Seriously, see below for more on that. Now, how powerful is this? When you see us in the hallways, be like, oh, hey, what's up, Greg? I watched your movie. You sent me in the mail. That's an immediate opening line that someone is now coming out and seeking us. They see us as the expert, the authority, because we sent them this package. We also put in an offer at the end for people to come to the bar. We're going to buy them a celebrity sour, which is our signature drink that you learn about in the movie, right? So instead of using the dollar bill, we use the DVD. And we've done this for two reasons. Here's the two reasons, all right? So this is called a grabber letter, right? So, in the last couple months, I've been going grabber crazy, right? So what are some other things that I could put at the top of a letter that would get somebody's attention? What would get somebody's attention, make them pay attention, and make them open the letter? Again, if you're sending something, like a DVD, that's lumpy. Someone's like, what's in this package? I got to open it, right? So it gets their attention, it gets them to know you, right? So with a grabber, one that we've been testing out is an eraser, right? One of these giant pink erasers that like second graders use when they mess up on their handwriting practice or whatever it is. It can do this in a bunch of different ways. So taxes were due yesterday, right? Today is April 16th. Yesterday was the 15th. So if you're a tax attorney, you can say, hey, every day that you don't pay the IRS, you are erasing your financial future. Right? Because the government is going to erase your entire bank account. So I've sent you an eraser for two reasons. One, I have a very important message and I wanted to get your attention. Two, the IRS is going to come after you and they are going to erase your entire financial assets if you don't call me today, right? Fits right in. Another one I've been doing is Polaroid pictures, blank Polaroid pictures. If you were a financial advisor, you say, hey, I've attached a blank Polaroid picture to this letter, and I've actually done this for two reasons. One is I have a very important message. I want to make sure I got your attention. And two, if every day that you don't call me, you don't set up a sound retirement plan, well, you are not creating, you will not have the financial future to create the memories that you want to create during your retirement. Maybe you want to travel or see your grandkids. Well, you're going to have blank photographs unless you have a retirement plan in order to pay for that stuff. So you see how that works. It's really, really cool, and it's very, very effective because it creates an emotional attachment. There's a reason for them to open the letter, and they really get caught up in the moment. So here's what I want to do. I actually want to get you involved right now. I want to do a quick little grabber contest. So hopefully while I was saying this, stuff was going off in your mind, and what I want you to do is in the chat box, the questions box, I want you to share your best idea and how to use a grabber in your own marketing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my favorite one, so it's completely biased. You can bribe me, whatever you got to do. I'm just playing. Share your best idea. Put it in the comments right now on how to use a grabber in your marketing. And what I'll do is I'll send you a signed copy of Celebrity Branding You. All right. So I'm going to X out of here real quick so I can look at the comments. But just shoot over some ideas. I think it'd be really fun, and I want to get you engaged because I want you taking action on some of the stuff that you learned. So again, I'm clicking out, and I want to see what you guys. Some people asked if there will be a replay. There will be a replay made available. All right. Mark asked, would the celebrity book be a grabber? 100%, right? So, hey, Jim, I sent you a copy of my best-selling book, and I've done this for two reasons. One is because I have a very important message and I want to get your attention. And two, I just hit the bestseller list sharing this vital information that you need to hear. So what I've done is I've actually paper-clipped my book chapter for you to read. After you read it, I want you to call my office to book an appointment with me because I think it's going to be important for your future. See how that works, Mark? I hope that helps out with you, all right? Helena says, a Swiss franc since I'm Swiss chocolate. I love it. I love it. James says, a small flashlight about turn the lights on XYZ opportunity. That's great. Like a little pocket flashlight that could put in there. Andy, I'd use little metal pieces and use the line, are you puzzled about? And I already have the book. Well, good. I love it, but not autographed. Sharon says, paperclip. Connect the idea of something very simple. It's a few simple facts. Paperclips are cheap and people like them. They come in cute colors too. Very good, Sharon. I love that. I love that. Tim says a pen. Write your own future and sign all those checks that will come in after my training. Tim, I like where your head's at. That's really, really cool. Consuela says inserting a chocolate or a fake gold medal at the top of the letter and tell people they can reach their gold medal moment through my speed and conditioning program. That is cool, Consuela. I really, really love that. Naveen says a giant eraser to erase disease and death. Learn the science of eternal success. Helena says a cowbell. Artie says seeds. I want to see you grow. That's really good. I like that one too. Sean, I sent you a coffee cup, and our firm buys all our clients a coffee, and our goal is to mug 500 people this week. Sean, I don't know if you want to mug 500 people, especially with all the Boston stuff coming off. Sharon, coming off the pen for the check, how about a blank check? And she says, yes, I'm Canadian, and note the spelling of check is different than us here in the States. Don says, a bank bag saying, call me and let's fill this up. You guys have some really, really great ones. I really appreciate you for sharing. I am going to go with, and I'll be nice, I'll do two of them here. Let's do Tim. If you could just shoot me a message with your address, I will shoot you one over. He had a pen, write your own future, and sign all of those checks. And Consuela, I loved yours as well. If you could just fire over your address in the questions box. No one else will see it, just myself. That way we can send you both a copy of Celebrity Branding You. Congratulations, guys. I love it. So I hope you guys really got something out of that and see how valuable that is and how you can do that in your own business. I think it's really, really important, all right? So I'm going to head back to full screen mode, and we'll get back. I'll be taking questions and things like that later, so let's jump right back into it, all right? So We've gone through 2 of the 5 steps. The third step we're going to talk about is let's get back to lead generation 101. And a lot of times we get caught up in all the fancy stuff and programming and systems that we could do. And sometimes you just got to go back to, hey, here's who I am, here's what I got. I'd love to give you a free report, just give me some information for it, right? And then when you get these people, you work them hard using the Celebrity Expert system to follow up with people, which we've done on previous webinars. I'm not going to get a lot into that today, but you got to get people in through the door, and sometimes you just got to go back to 101. So we alluded to it in the email sequence for this webinar, but if you go out to the newsstands right now, or maybe you get this magazine as a subscriber, but Inc. Magazine this month, we're actually running a full page ad in Inc. Magazine, and this is what it looks like. Right at the top, you can see the social proof, 997 best-selling authors and counting. Will you be next? We're over 1,000 now. We've helped over 1,000 people become best-selling authors, which is great, but you know how magazines work. You got to get the ad in a couple months ahead of time. Again, familiarity. There's Nick and Jack's photo right at the top in the top right corner, so you might have seen Nick speak, or you know them from their book, or whatever the case is, but hey, these are real guys. They run a real agency. The headline, write a book, become a best-selling author, grow your business empire. And look, really simple. Bottom right-hand corner, there is a cutout, right? Old school direct marketing cutout. It says, hey, to receive a copy of our new special report, write a book, grow your business empire, and we gave them like 5 ways to respond. They can head to celebritybrandingagency.com/Inc. When you go to that, there's just a lead generation page where you enter in your information and you're sent a copy of that special report. You could fax this back, and there's a fax number on there. They can email info@celebritybrandingagency.com. If you don't want to go fill out a form, you just want to shoot us an email, we'll shoot you back the report. You can call, and there's a tracking number that we have on there, so we know exactly how many calls are coming into the agency. And then finally, you can just mail this thing back. And it's crazy, but we have had people do every single one of those response mechanisms. And we have a follow-up system for each of those different response mechanisms. If someone goes to celebritybrandingagency.com/Inc., well, they get an email with the special report, and then they get a sequence of emails afterwards saying, hey, did you get the report? Did you like it? Would you like to talk to an agent? Here's some other stuff we have. And it's just a follow-up sequence. If they call in, well, then we collect their information on the phone and we send them the special report, and then we have one of our business agents follow up with them and say, hey, Andy, did you get the report? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you have any questions? Are you thinking about writing your own book? And this has been really, really important to the growth of our agency. Now, obviously, the same thing can be done online, and we have a client here, Mike Reese, and here's how we're using personality and celebrity on his landing page right at the top. Best-selling author and TV personality, Mike Reese reveals the 7 biggest retirement lies that are destroying your retirement income. Get free access now. Enter your information to get this free video series. And these are leads, and once they go in through the lead system, they get follow-ups and autoresponders and more cool content, and they get the 7 videos, but it's just going back to lead generation 101. And this isn't rocket science, but we forget that we need to send people to landing pages or to lead generation funnels and collect information and then remarket to these people, because these people are raising their hand. They're excited. They put their personal contact information in the case of our ad. I mean, if they're calling us, or if they're sending in something in the mail to us, I mean, they're taking an effort to read a magazine and respond to an ad in a magazine. Like, these people are raising their hand. With Mike, he can send people from his TV show, from his radio show to this landing page. That takes a lot. If someone is listening to the radio in their car on the way to the office or the gym or whatever, and they go to a website and fill out some information, that is someone you want to follow up with. And it's really just going back to basics and collecting this information, but it's not just enough to collect the information. You've got to have the systems in place to follow up with these people. So I just wanted to show you some examples of, getting out there and just get back to basics. Run some ads to collect leads and then send offers to these leads. So that was step number 3, all right? So moving right along, use story with association, all right? So sometimes you're going to be mailing a list of people that they don't know who you are. right? Maybe you're exhibiting at a trade show and it's the first time exhibiting at that trade show and people don't know you yet. They're not familiar with you. Or maybe you bought a mailing list of people in your local area, right? So, pizza chains will go in, they'll buy an entire zip code and they'll just mail out, but you don't know them yet. They just moved into the neighborhood. There's really no association yet. So one great way to break into that niche, that group, that tribe that you don't have any affinity with yet is by using story. Connect with story about why you're entering this marketplace. And here's a postcard that we're sending out for one of our clients, Richard Sepula. ROI Matrix is the name of his company, and this is a postcard that I wrote and created for him. And this is also a pre-mailer for the GKIC event, which is a Dan Kennedy conference. So everybody that's going to GKIC knows Dan. They know of his legend. They've probably been on his mailing list or getting his newsletter or coming to these events for years, right? So right away, instead of talking about the ROI Matrix, right at the beginning of the copy, it says, hey, one of Dan's first rules of marketing is making sure that you have a message, market, and media match. Now, if you've been with Dan for any length of time, this is Magnetic Marketing 101. This is No BS Marketing Letter 101. This is like the first thing that they teach over there is message, market, match. So right away he says, hey, one of Dan's first rules is message, market, media, match, right? This means that when sending out any piece of media, you want your message to be targeted to a specific part, and he just goes in with this, right? Then he goes into a story. Think about an Italian restaurant sending the same message to everyone in a 10-mile radius, regardless of age, income, neighborhood, drive time, and other qualities. I knew I had to personally do something to help small business owners like you to remedy this problem and stop wasting your money on bad marketing. Hi, my name is Richard Sepula, but you can call me the ROI guy. I recently co-authored Dan Kennedy's new No BS Direct Marketing book and have been working with members throughout GKIC to help improve their market, message, and media match through my groundbreaking ROI software and process. So he told a story of how he learned from Dan's training and he used Dan's training, and now he was able to co-author a book with Dan. He's also been able to help GKIC folks. So now he's got association. People are like, oh, he's working with Dan. He's co-authored a book with Dan. He's been working with GKIC folks, and there's actually testimonials right below this from members of GKIC. So again, using complete association. What we also did in the back side of the postcard is we actually created a brand new product for Richard called the 6 Steps to Direct Marketing ROI. And it's a teleconference that he held with Dan Kennedy. And so here you have Richard, the ROI guy Sepula, and Dan Kennedy present 6 steps, co-authors of No BS Direct Marketing. So people see this and they're like, wow, Richard created a product with Dan. He must be someone that I need to listen to. Maybe I need to stop by his booth, or maybe I need to do something, right? And so we're having people stop by. The call to action on this postcard is to stop by the booth to get a free copy of the 6 Steps to Direct Marketing ROI, because they might not know who Richard is, but they know who Dan is, and if this new product or information that Dan created, well, I got to go get it, right? So it gives them a reason through association to come to his booth. Really, really powerful, right? All right, we are finally on to the 5th piece of the equation, which is now that you got all their attention, you're using the celebrity, you're using your personality, you're using association, well, now you got to write to their emotions. Because we really buy on emotions. And again, this is a lot of basic marketing 101 stuff, but it's really not always common practice and what people do in their marketing. People buy for emotional reasons, and then they rationalize it with fact and data and features and all that stuff, but they buy because they get excited emotionally first. So you really want to write to their emotions. Now, this is a great book that was recommended to me by Rich Sheffrin and his team over at Strategic Profits. It's called The Emotion Thesaurus, a writer's guide to character expression. And it's really great, and I love using it when I write copy. And in it, it's got a ton of different emotions that people have, right? So I just flipped open to one page, and I'm on the fear, right? So the definition of fear is to be afraid of, to expect threat or danger. And then it has a huge list of physical signals, and this is stuff that you can put in your copy. Your face turns ashen, it's white, it's pallid, your hair is lifting on the nape and arms, you have a body odor, cold sweat and clammy hands, trembling lips and chin. This is stuff that you can put right into your copy, right? Your mental reactions when you have fear, you're wanting to flee or hide, the sensation of things moving too quickly to process, images of what could be is flashing through the mind. I am painting a vivid picture of fear, right? And that's emotional. That hits like, man, I'm feeling like that right now because I am so scared, right? So I'll flip to another, hopefulness, right? Physical signs of hopefulness. You're holding one's breath. When your eyebrows raise, you're leaning in, you're clutching at the chest or the belly. I mean, you are hopeful. You are ready to go, right? Very, very powerful book. So it's something you can grab it on Amazon if you are a copywriter, someone to connect emotionally. I thought that was a really cool resource. I love sharing those kind of things with you guys. I think you'll really, really enjoy it as I have as I go to write. So now let's go to an actual example, right? So this is a letter. I took out the client's name and the company name, for confidentiality. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of the letter. And here's the letter that they're sending to get them excited about estate planning. All right, and it says, "Dear Nate, so dear Greg, family is such an important part of our lives here at Acme Widget Company. Every day I get to work side by side with my wife, and we make every second count with our children. And we'd like to think of you as family as well. It started with trusting us to come in and allow me to create your retirement plan, a plan that allows you to make sure that your income needs are always met throughout the rest of your life. Today I wanted to write to you about your family." So instantly you're creating an emotion because family is very important, and it's very important to a lot of people. Every day he gets to work side by side with his wife. And if you've worked with him, this is going actually to existing clients to get them to do a second service, you know that he takes off certain days to be with his children, he goes and picks them up from school, and they really do treat their clients like family. It's very, very important. It creates that emotional connection because I care about family. If I care about family and my advisor cares about family, well, that's really, really important. That's very, very powerful. So it creates that emotional connection immediately that if family is important to me and it's important to this guy, well, I trust him. Right? Remember, it's know, like, and trust. I like him because he's a family guy, and I trust him more because he's a family guy. And really funny going along with family, right after my son was born, we did right after, I forget, we did a TV show up in Washington, D.C., and I was talking to a couple clients at dinner that night, and they said, Greg, I like you, I love your information, but you know what? I just, until you told me you had a young son, you might not have been the guy I wanted to work with. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, because I want someone who's a family guy, who's got to work for the family, who's got to support them. And I was like, I never got that. But to him, that was vitally important. That was the connection that allowed us to work together, that allowed us to create that connection, and now I'm doing projects for him. You just never know what that emotional connection is going to be, but you start to understand what it is when you understand the importance of who your client's customers are. All right? Second one, second example I have for you, in that first letter I showed you for Grant and Andrew, at the bottom of that letter, here's a picture of Andrew with his, I think, like 3-day-old baby. We go in and there's two types of investors. We're writing today talk about investor number 2, for real answers and real solutions to real fears and questions that you have about your financial future for both you and your family. And I should know because I just welcomed my second child into the world. I can relate to you. I can connect with you. I just had my second child. And if he's going to the retirement community, well, maybe that person who's about to retire just had their first grandchild, right? There's an emotional connection there. If you have someone who's just been through this situation, it immediately creates that emotional bond. It is very, very powerful, very impactful, and people put you in a different light. And it doesn't have to be about family. I know I showed 2 family examples. It doesn't have to be about family. You can use that emotion thesaurus that I just shared to create all kinds of different connections. It could be, if you're in the weight loss niche, it could be a pain, that you had, an injury that you overcame, or the fact that you went through diet after yo-yo diet and this and that, and now you finally found something that works. But I can connect with you because I stayed up at 3 a.m. watching those crazy infomercials, thinking that toy is going to be the next new thing that's going to make me lose my weight. That creates that emotional connection just as well as the family examples that I am sharing with you. All right? So let's go through a quick wrap-up of what we covered today. I know I talk really quick, but hopefully you got some things that you can put into your marketing right now, because these 5 things that I showed you, these are campaigns that we are running right now. Not a year ago, not 5 years ago, literally all within the last month. All right, so get them to know you. Use that celebrity right on the envelope, on the subject line. Get their attention in the headline. Tell them who you are and how you can help them solve the problem that they have. 2, think about the School of Halbert. You guys did a great job with some grabber examples. I encourage you to think about how can you use that stuff? How can you get someone's attention through the School of Halbert and using grabbers? Get back to Lead Gen 101. Start collecting information on your prospects. If you are not, man, you are missing out on a huge asset and opportunity in your business. if you're looking to get into a new market, use story with your association. How do you relate to the neighborhood that you just walked into? How did you learn about this organization that you're now exhibiting with, right? Use that story. Create that story. Because we were all new to something sometime, right? I didn't always live in the neighborhood that I lived in now. And so when someone new comes in, they tell me their story about how I can connect because I just moved here as well, right? And then right to their emotions. Get them at the heart because that is where you're going to sell them. You're going to get them to raise their hand and get them to call you, all right? Really, really fun stuff, all right? So Celebrity Expert Marketing is I'm just going to talk really quickly about this, and then I'm going to open it up. We'll do a quick Q&A with any time that we have left over. So if you guys do have questions about what we covered today, I will definitely answer them for you. So Celebrity Expert Marketing is a company that Nick, Jack, and I launched in January of this year, and we've been doing campaigns just like the ones that you guys saw. Writing a lot of personality, celebrity-driven copy, playing to the emotions, doing a lot of fun direct mail, and really we're helping our clients show up like nobody else. We're taking the marketing that you're currently doing now and we are just amplifying it. We're turning it up. The volume was up to 10, we're turning it up to 12, and we're bringing in the subwoofers and the new speakers to really take it to that next level. And it's using the personality and it's using the celebrity to do that. The last thing I want someone to think of when they think of you is to think of you as a salesman. I want them to think of you as an expert, as an authority, as someone that they have to talk to because you're the one with that information and they can't wait to do business with you. And that's really a position that we've helped over 1,600 clients all across the country do at the agency over the last few years. And now we're just taking that to another level with the marketing that you saw throughout this presentation. So we're writing the copy, we're doing the design, we're helping do the mailings, we're doing all the tracking, and we're putting it all together for you. And this webinar isn't essentially a sales call for that program, although if you are interested in that, I'd love to talk to you. We have currently 5 open slots in our current marketing positioning to do all of your marketing for you, which is really fun. But what I want to talk about today is if the stuff intrigued you today and you want to talk a little bit more about how you can add celebrity, personality, association, and emotion into your current marketing. What I have is a 60-minute marketing assessment where we go through about 20-25 questions that we put together and we drill through them. And I come up with really a list of 3 to 5 ways that you can implement celebrity and personality, emotion and attention and all the stuff we talked about today into your business immediately. Now obviously we can help you do that stuff, but I will give you the roadmap for the way that you can do that in your business as well. It's an hour long, it's an assessment, we jump on the phone, afterwards I send you a nice typed up report with, hey, this is exactly what you need to do in order to take advantage of this stuff. It's only $295, it's not really expensive for an hour of my time, and then also on the back end getting you the implementation steps, and then we'll do a follow-up as well, follow up an email, make sure that you're taking action. I'll look over some of the materials that you've created based on the plan. All you need to do is head over to celebrityexpertmarketing.com/CXM. Again, celebrityexpertmarketing.com/CXM. That'll take you there and you can sign up. So what I want to do now, we have about 12-15 minutes or so remaining. So what I want to do is, if you guys have questions about anything that we talked about today, about your own marketing plans, about how to implement this stuff in your business, I want you to fire it away. And if you guys have questions that you're not comfortable asking in the questions box, feel free to reach out to me. It's greg@dnagency.com. You can see that on the lower part of the screen now. I'd love for you to take us up on the assessment. I think it'd be great for you. And the assessment is a great first step to see if we'd be great to work together for the Celebrity Expert Marketing Do It For You program. So I'm going to escape out of here so I can look at some of the questions, and we'll kind of run from there. All right, perfect. So again, guys, any questions that you have about anything that we covered today, about the assessment, about Celebrity Expert Marketing, and about applying celebrity and personality-driven marketing into your business, please fire away. I'd love to help you out, spend a few minutes going through this stuff today. So I'm going to take a sip of water, and I'll be back in a second. Barbara says, there's a theory that an envelope suggesting a marketing message gets tossed, and the envelope should be bulky but blank. What do you think about that? So The number one answer there is you got to test, right? So testing is ultra important in this whole process. So I wouldn't bet any marketing campaign on just sending one piece and hoping and praying. I would segment and send a couple tests out. With that said, if a good guy's list to get on to see envelopes is James Malinchak. He actually sends out the craziest envelopes, and it is a direct pitch to his. It's almost like a postcard on an envelope, and then you open it, and there's more sales messaging right on there. What we've been doing and experimenting lately is putting these celebrity-driven stuff right on the envelope. So the as seen on. We've experimented with putting faces on the envelopes. If you get our newsletter, you know that our faces are right on the envelope. Nick, Jack, Lindsay, and myself. What we've been doing is experimenting almost with wedding save the date style copy on the envelope, and that's been working really, really well. So more of like a your response is needed by May 15th, or you know we have 2 seats reserved for you, got to call us by this date. So we add that scarcity, that urgency, that sense of I need to take action now, what's in here, and it's almost done wedding style. So I'll go back to the envelope at the beginning of this, and hopefully you can see it. So you can see it just says here, your RSVP is requested by April 5th. So it's not really a marketing message. It's say, hey, I'm inviting you to this thing. Inside's obviously going to be the invitation, but I need you to respond by April 5th. So don't just shove this in a place that you're not ever going to look at it. And this has been working really, really well in the tests that we've done. But again, it's a test, and we are always, always testing that stuff. All right. Jesse said, can we get a copy of the presentation slides? I'm not going to be sending out the slides, but I will be sending out a replay of this webinar tomorrow, so you can watch it on the replay and do what you need to do from there. Tim said, good stuff. I like the whole people buy from people idea. I've always believed that many of my clients have hired me for me. And Tim, you probably really are true. It's such a powerful concept when you understand it, that people buy from people. And even further from that, what we're seeing as an extension of people buy from people is people refer people that they like. Because it is really tough for me to recommend someone to go do work for. And I'm not going to recommend someone who's a jerk or someone that I don't like. I'm going to recommend Tim because Tim and I had a great conversation. He hooked me up. He told me he was going to get this marketing plan done, and he told me 3 weeks. He got it done in 2, and it got a great response. You need to go and talk to Tim. I have no idea if you're in the marketing business, but you get where I'm going with it. And so that aspect, if you can turn your business into a cocktail conversation, right? So we have a couple dentists that we work with, and their patients that come into their dental practice talk about them outside of the dental practice, right? I don't talk about my dentist, right? I just don't. It's not something that comes up in conversation. But when you do this celebrity-driven stuff, you can create that cocktail conversation. I mean, you've won. If you get your clients talking about you over a drink or over dinner, and like, hey, my financial advisor, he just sent me this big box of stuff yesterday, and it had CDs and a blanket with his logo on it. It was really cool, and I can't believe it. And he really helped me and hooked me up with this retirement plan. Really, really goes a long way towards growing your business long term, and people really do buy from people. Jesse said, okay, great, love it. Consuela says, what is your take on using social media over direct mailing? You're talking to a direct mail guy, so I'm going to say what I love about direct mail and direct media is that I can, it's a math game, right? So I'm going to buy a list of 1,000 people. It's going to cost me $2 to put the letters together for 1,000 people, and I'm going to send that out on this date, and I want them to take this specific action, which nets me this much money per sale. Right, so it becomes a real math game, and I can tweak from there. I can grow from there. I can respond and make changes and implement different things, and that's what I love about direct marketing, direct media. Now, some of that can be done with social media, but sometimes it's if I tweet right now, are the right people going to see it? Is it the right time? Did I get enough clicks on the link? Was Greg boycotting Twitter this week, so he didn't even see it at all? I mean, obviously with mail, not every piece hits a mailbox just because our postal service is amazing, but you have much more control over it. We do a lot with social media. I love social media. We run a lot with Facebook ads. That was one of our big things that we were doing last year. We send, like for this webinar, it was promoted over social media, but the more media that you can use to get your message across, I think it was in Richard's example I shared. It's all about message to market to media, right? So you want to match what's the message that you want to send. What's the message that's going to get their attention? What's the market? Who do you actually want to hear this message, right? So for a lot of our financial advisor clients, they're not even on social media, right? So we don't want to send them there. And then you got to have the media to match, right? So do they want audio? Do they want video? Do they want to read a sales letter? Do they want a blog post? Do they want whatever it is? If you get those three components, it's really, really going to help you. So Sharon, thanks, got to run. Thanks, Sharon, for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Tim says, I don't even remember how I found out about this email. Yeah, so email, social media is probably where you found out about this. So hope that helps you out. But guys, I really appreciate it. If you guys have anything else, I'd be happy to hang out for another 5 minutes or so. But I do want to thank you for hanging out today. I really do hope that you learn some things that you can put into action. If you're interested in working with us and having us create this celebrity and personality in your marketing, I encourage you to reach out, greg@dnagency.com, or take us up on the Celebrity Expert Marketing Assessment. It's less than $300. We'll spend some time together on the phone. We'll follow up and make sure that you have a plan going forward to implement this into your business. The link for that, celebrityexpertmarketing.com/CXM, should take you right to the checkout page. I'll personally be in touch with you within probably about 24 hours, usually less, to schedule that session. And we'll rock and roll from there. So Consuela says, well, this was awesome. Thank you so much. I have to go and make some young children reach their gold medal moments. I love that, Consuela. Thanks for hanging out. If you're going to the super conference, can I take you to lunch? Said John. 100%, man. And come and get a drink with us Wednesday night from 5 to 8. We'll be giving away some celebrity sours. So come hang out with us. I'll buy you a drink, and then you can buy me some lunch. How about that? Tim is looking forward to the book. Congrats, man. I'll get that out to you. Bookmark the link. Awesome. Love it. Market, direct agency, and service workers. Sorry when those know me. Love it. You guys are awesome. Again, I want to thank you for hanging out today, and we will be... so I want to drink. I want to drink too. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it, and we will talk to you really soon.